and then wherever the wind takes me is where I go. I didn't have a plan. Although I had a vision board, but like I realized now 15 years in, like my vision board changed literally every 2 years.
Really?
I went from wanting to be on Power 106 to wanting to be
like DJ Charisma or something.
Charisma was like my idol.
Yeah, I could imagine.
You know?
Yeah.
And Felly Fell took me under and was like, you know what? Come into the meetings. Maybe we can get you on the radio. See how you like it first. Get your feet wet. I did a couple of radio appearances, and I would go to the meetings on Wednesdays, and I literally out of nowhere was just like, I don't think I want to be a radio DJ. Now, mind you, that was at the top of my vision board. I wanted to be on Power.
That was like making it.
That was like my end goal. My end goal was just to be on the radio. And then like out of nowhere, like I'm just like, never mind. Like I don't think this is my creative outlet.
Did it take you trying it or just being exposed to it to understand that?
I think being exposed to exactly what being in a room felt like. And I don't know. Here's one thing. I realized one thing about me. I'm like afraid of monotony.
Of just same thing every day.
Same thing every day in everything that I do. And I think which is why I have been really good at motivating myself when it comes to like maintaining my career is because I'm scared to have a 9 to 5. Again, nothing against a 9 to 5. I just know that I couldn't do it. I need my creative outlet all the time. And I'm very afraid of monotony.
So that almost motivates you to like go harder than to not fall in a situation where you have to have a 9 to 5.
Exactly, because I promised my parents also. I'm like, I promise you guys that I can make it. I can provide for myself and take care of my family doing this.
Did they not want you to be a DJ?
No, you know what? Again, I feel like I'm just a very rare case. My parents were always so extremely supportive. If you've been following me for a while, you would know like how supportive my parents were. My parents were very like, you know, when I realized that I didn't want to continue on with college, they were very like, okay, but you have to put your 100% into this shit and you have to be super good at it. You can't just be like mediocre at this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was always like, in the beginning, it was always, I have something to prove to my parents. I want to make my parents proud. Then it became, now I have to prove it to myself because I don't want to go back to school and I don't want to land on a 9 to 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And mind you, to this day, I still have that fear that I'm, you know, I might end up doing that. But then now I'm like, I've done it for 15 years. I can keep going and I'm going to keep going.
You're almost proof to yourself at that point that it's possible because maybe back then when you were younger, you didn't have that proof. That's maybe that self-confidence that this was possible.
Yes,
and now it's just like, you're your own role model.
Exactly. But also the imposter syndrome is still there. Like it still exists.
Yeah.
I'm still very like, am I doing a great job? Am I making my parents proud? Like, you know what I mean? But again, like all of those things need to exist in order for me to stay motivated. I'm very like, this sounds really weird to say, but like negativity really does like push me and inspire me and motivate me. Like if someone doubts me, I'm going to go harder. If my parents don't think I'm doing great, I'm going to go harder. If I'm scared that like my friends are, you know, leaving me behind and I'm just stuck and I'm being idle, I'm going to go harder.
That's a great trait to have because some people would view that in the other way. And it's really good that you don't, where it's just like, this is a lot of pressure and anxiety and like, I'm just going to crumble, quit. Yeah.
Yeah. Same with like, I always say I perform best under like procrastinating.
Really?
Which is such a bad trait. It's again, like I say, it's both a blessing and a curse because when I'm procrastinating, the pressure is there. So it's like pushing me and I end up like producing my best work. You know what I mean? Like I love deadlines. I love being on a time crunch. Again, I don't know if these things are good. I don't know why my brain is wired this way, but I perform well under scrutiny, under being judged, under a time crunch. You know what I mean? I just always need something to like push me.
Yeah. Are you okay with that trade-off of like the stress that it might bring you for the rewards?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's why I'm always like, yeah, I'm going to procrastinate because I know now that when I do procrastinate, I produce my best work.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it seems like you know yourself best. And if that's what gets you going,
exactly.
That might not work for somebody else, but it works for you.
Exactly. That's why I like what going back to what I said during the beginning, like I don't know if I'm the best at giving advice because I just do what works for me.
Yeah.
And I'm a rare case in a lot of things that I've done have been able to maintain for myself in like the last 15 years. You know what I mean? Like even like something as little as like I'm just so like grateful that I haven't had time to like slow down in my career. Like I haven't really had like a plummet. I've been very just like steady. So now when you talk about success, some people might not see my trajectory as successful. But to me, it is because my goal was always longevity. My goal was always consistency. My goal was always street cred. My goal was always just like something steady. You know what I mean? I never wanted something that was like up and down. Like I'm super popular. I'm famous. I'm making it.
Like you're headlining some crazy festival. Like that wasn't.
Yes.
On the,
and again, I compare that to like my personal, like what I go through personally. Like I always know that if I go up really high, there's nowhere but like down.
Yeah.
You know, like even with mental health, like I don't like really high highs because I know it's going to come down. I'm scared of that.
That's why drugs aren't good for you.
And that's exactly why I don't do drugs.
Yeah.
One, I'm paranoid. Two, I overthink. I overanalyze. I don't want to go up because I know I'm going to come down. I just like steady.
So you stay
like
even,
a steady pace.
You stay even keel then. Does that reflect in other parts of your life, not just career wise? Like you like to just be even keel personality wise and the way you interact, or
I think because I like safety. I do like a steady pace. I don't know. That one's a little more deep.
Okay.
But I do know that in my career, I always knew that my goal was going to be consistency and longevity. And I knew that the only way to get there is, again, I hate that it sounds so cliche, but just being authentic. Like I know that I could have had overnight success like opportunities. Like I've had an agency offer me like, hey, we could literally turn you into like an overnight EDM sensation, but you're going to change exactly how you look. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. And I was like, and I was promised money. I was promised residencies. I didn't want it.
Cause why?
That would have compromised who I was.
Oh, okay.
I didn't want to do anything that I didn't want to do. Again, like goes back to my personality and who I truly am. I'm stubborn. I'm going to be exactly who I am. And you can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me how to dress. You can't tell me how to look. You can't tell me what to play. I'm very much strict on who I am and who I want to be.
That's admirable. Yeah. You're not going to sell out for just a bag or...
It's admirable once you see the product, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, like when I'm in that phase, I go through like doubting myself. I go through like,
imagine.
Am I robbing myself of like these big opportunities? Should I have like grabbed the dangly shiny toy in front of me and have been an overnight sensation? Should I have just been, you know what? I'm going to do that because I want money, or I want to be on a billboard. I want to be on a TV show. But like, again, me knowing that I'm very true to myself and knowing that in the end of all this, the most fulfilling thing for me is going to be that I stay true to myself. Because again, like I don't have to maintain anything if I'm exactly who I am.
Yeah.
If I turned into an EDM DJ and became an overnight sensation and I realize I literally don't even like the shit that I'm playing, then what am I going to do after that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I come down and then I'm sad and I'm not me. And then people forget about me because that was just a fad or a trend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that like the I guess the formula and the road that I took, I didn't know that it was going to be, I didn't exactly know it was going to be the right road.
Right.
Until now, like 15 years in, and I realized, damn, I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
And like going back to what I said, I never like plummeted. It was steady. And to me, that's success.
So I have a question on that. Did you start off like, maybe you said this and I didn't catch it, but did you start off with that goal of consistency being what you wanted? Or did you find that out later when you look back at your career and be like, hold on, I'm winning because I've had this career trajectory of like consistency and stability?
I think in the beginning, I wanted it to be consistent for the simple fact that I didn't want to go back to school. And I wanted to tell my mom I can make consistent money and provide for myself with this consistent, you know, however I was making money DJing, right?
I see.
So in the beginning, it was very much like clockwork. Like I need 4 gigs in 1 week. I need to pay my bills.
Everything.
Exactly. I need to pay my bills and blah, blah. But then when I started putting more attention into, you know, my branding and like having more intention to, you know, opportunities that I'm accepting, that's when I realized I can create my own formula to this. And my own formula was, again, my goal was going to be longevity and consistency.
Right.
I wasn't going to, you couldn't sell a shiny toy in front of me if it meant an insane amount of money, if it wasn't true to who I was.
Yeah. And you've been creating your own formula since the very beginning, because like you said, you didn't have a whole lot of, you know, people to look up to that were doing what you wanted to do. So you just started doing things your own way yourself. So why wouldn't you continue to do that? And I also think, going back to what you were saying earlier, living your life with doubting things and decisions is like very natural, but it's not a very sustainable way to live your life, because it's like, if you're always looking at decisions like, well, I could have done that and that could have been better. It's like that saying where you never make the right choice, you make the choice right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it like,
I love that.
That's a great positive mentality that you have to do things that way.
Yeah.
And I saw a quote that you said as well, where you said, you're a visionary first before anything else, right? Before being a DJ. So what does that mean to you?
To me, it's just, I'm going to make a way no matter what. Whatever outlet I decide to put my heart and my soul into, I'm going to make a way. That's why, like, when my, say, like, you know, someone will ask me, what's like your 10-year plan? I'm like, I couldn't tell you, because my 10-year plan 10 years ago is nothing like what I'm doing now. Again, like going back to what I said, like 7 years ago, my vision board, at the top of my vision board was, I wanted to be on Power. I wanted to be a radio DJ. And then just in a month, that changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wanted to be a tour DJ for an artist. Now I realize I can't imagine being a tour DJ, because what would I do if I'm not at clubs playing the shit that I wanted? If I'm just doing the same 5-minute sets before the artist goes, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, to me, a visionary would be, I'm going to make a way no matter what, even if the tides were changing, even if the climate was changing, like, I'm going to make a way no matter what.
Okay.